light 'em up, beat me up, the only GOAT.
I want to review this with you guys because I get too many messages about, hey, Harry, here we go. Fade of the week, pro schmo bets. Hey, listen, all we do is take Jacob's lock of the week from WeWantPicks.com and apply it to our machine learning system. This week, they had Julia Pilastri. Finally, for once, there is a particular fighter who merits the bets and the skill set. Julia Pilastri is incredibly talented, a Shuto Brazil strawweight champion. But we have a problem, folks. We have a huge problem. And I want to review this with you guys because I get too many messages about, hey, Harry, you're on like this losing skid. It's never happened to you before. What's going on with your system? Fellas, if you're tuning in for the first time, what we do is we pay every 3 months $5,000 to data engineers, scientists, to be able to give us odds for predicting a particular side when we take Jacob's lock of the week and we either bet it or fade it. Well, we don't bet it anymore. We bet it initially. We don't bet it anymore. The variance is ridiculous here. It's appalling. And so I'll give you an example of that. Follow me. You'll understand. So let's say Mel Costa against Andre Fili. Andre Fili gets submitted in the half guard. It was a guillotine choke. Absurd. Either he's selling or he's injured. And data information to us is more on the injury side. Him coming out of physiotherapy 3 days prior to his fight was a telling sign of things, of bad things to come. All right, folks. So again, we know that fight is won by Andre Fili 4 out of 5 times. 4 out of 5 times. Fellas, Mel Costa at featherweight, that guy's a lightweight. If Thiago Moises is a lightweight, how on God's green earth is Mel Costa a featherweight? All right, fellas. Hey, listen. Cody Brundage, Marquez. Clearly, Marquez is much more talented. What the hell happened here, right? Cody Brundage won the fight. Well, Marquez could have had that by skill set and stoppage, right? Whether it went the distance or they stopped the fight early for him. But instead, Cody Brundage got the victory. Bruno Ferreira was a great dog. Sam Hughes, horrible. You got Stephanie Luciano. How many media outlets said it was crazy how they would give a split decision again to Sam Hughes. Now here's the thing. And Taco Padilla, come on, fellas. You saw that fight with Jair. But here's the thing. This is how the machine system works. This is how it works, okay? And we'll get into Julia Pilastri and Lupi Godinez and why Lupi Godinez is the money line for this week. Very simple. On the Taco Padilla fight card, UFC London, you're telling me this is the best dog that we could have applied to our machine learning system? Absolutely not. There were incredible lines, incredible fighter favorites and fighter underdogs. You got to be kidding. But this is the best product? No, I have to service this. Sam Hughes on that fight card? You got to be kidding me. UFC 311, Bruno Ferreira, God bless, thank the Lord. Cody Brundage on that UFC fight? Now, you got to be kidding. That was not the underdog of the card. Mel Costa at plus 105. You got to be kidding. This is absurd. So, with that said, the absurdity, okay, in this talent pool of picking dogs, which I'm not fond of, I'm just, unfortunately, we're victims of it because WeWantPicks.com is the case study. We have no choice and no say. There is someone I like. I think it's Live Dogs MMA. Live Dog Live MMA, something to that effect. You could look them up on Instagram where they actually they hunt for good lines, right? EV, high variance, all right? Handle percentages and bets, parlays, where they have data they use instrumental to picking out a dog. Now, that's not to say that he's not picking out dogs. This guy, Jacob, is picking dogs and he's winning, okay, on decisions, split decisions, on it's just something we're not in favor of, but he's winning. So this is what he's doing. All right, folks. Now, this is why we pay big money for this, okay? So we've identified that all he's doing until now, with Julia Pilastri being a little different. I'll explain to you what he's doing with Julia Pilastri and why he's going to lose here. Despite maybe winning the fight on the scorecard, maybe on verdict.com or other system scorecards, and not UFC scorecard. All right, for a split decision robbery for Lupe Godinez in UFC Mexico. Let me explain to you something. What do you find with Mel Costa, Cody, with Bruno, with these fighters, Taco Padilla? What do you see here? Very simple, very close lines. That's what it was, okay? Very close lines. All right, so very close lines between Mel Costa, Cody Brundage, Bruno Ferreira, and Taco Padilla against their opponents relative to age. All right, so Mel Costa was fighting somebody that was 5 years older his age. Cody Brundage, 5 years older his age. Taco Padilla, 5 years older his age. Bruno Ferreira, so on and so forth. These guys that have close lines are relatively younger, okay, and they're underdogs. And that's the trend that Jacob is riding. That's what we've identified, all right? So he's not telling you during Lock of the Week segments that this is how he's sorting out his dogs. He tells you there's a criteria, but he's not telling you specifically that he's doing this on a trend. Now, for the females, it's about the same. And we're getting into the Julia Pilastri pick now, okay? So Julia Pilastri, Lupe Godinez. Let's see. What is the trend here? Give us rhyme and reason, right, Harry? Give what's going on with women's MMA. So let's take it back to Ketlin Souza. All right, what happened with Ketlin Souza and Angela Hill? Veteran female won, the older women's MMA fighter, right? What happens with, let's take this Amanda Lemos and Jasmine Lucindo. You have Amanda Lemos winning, the older veteran fighter, right? What happens with Stephanie Luciano against Sam Hughes? Exactly. You have the older fighter, more experienced veteran. Here we got Lupe Godinez and Julia Pilastri. All right. Now, this is a bit different from what we were describing with the males and how it appears, Jacob, from We Want Picks, whether he's consciously doing it or subconsciously doing it. This is the algorithm they're on. It's one of trends. Okay, but here, Julia Pilastri, she's a Thai boxer. What a great fighter who defends takedowns and who could potentially exploit Lupe Godinez as a boxer. Okay, the reason I say this is because Julia Pilastri is incredible, man. She has this Dracula guard she sets up where it even fools the commentators to think that she's getting struck, that she's getting hit. And that's not the case. She's blocking with that Dracula guard. Usually you need large gloves for that. Okay, but you got Julia Pilastri here who's blocking shots from power punches, which is incredible. And she's defending takedowns and so on and so forth. And yes, when you have a guard like that, you are vulnerable to a high kick, but Lupe Godinez is short, or you're susceptible to the high kick. You're also susceptible to takedowns, right? So anybody that would be an opponent to Julia Pilastri who could time a takedown because of her style of fight, she would find herself in big trouble, right? But that's not the case. We have not seen that with Julia Pilastri. Do I think Lupe Godinez is going to find a takedown here on Julia? Maybe in the late third, maybe in the late third. It would be more of a strategic attempt to maybe close out the round. Do I think this fight's going to be a split decision, close victory for Julia? But, the judges, Mexico City, UFC matchmakers, referee, and special interest groups are going to want Lupe Godinez through 1,000%. All right, so as we've mentioned in the past, there are many mistakes that we have made. Here is one of the big ones, okay? And we had to continue this. We had to continue betting against the algorithm here because we needed Jacob's algorithm to snap. And it snapped, okay? This is the spot. This is where it finally snaps, okay? But with all that said, we were betting against Mel Costa with Fili, against Cody Brundage, right, with Marquez, Armen Petrosian with Bruno Ferreira, so on and so forth. And we were noticing that although we were picking the skilled fighters, the more skillful fighters, right? For Mel Costa to Fili, again, 3-4 out of 5 fights. That's his in the bag, fellas. That's a black belt in jiu-jitsu getting submitted in the half guard. There's something wrong there. Cody Brundage, I mean, he could have got stopped. The ref didn't want to stop it when Marquez was putting hands on him. Had this gone into the next round, it was over. You guys know it. Cody Brundage, it's no. Bruno Ferreira, Armin Petrosian. Had Bruno not gotten that takedown, it was over for him. They go into the next round, it's over for him. Armin Petrosian's got like 80 amateur fights. That guy is game, man. Front kicks, round kicks to the body. I mean, the guy could do so much, but we'll give Bruno Ferreira a good shot there. So I've always said I favored that pick. It's just that he's not talented, man. He's much older. He didn't have time to polish his skill set. We're not talking about a guy like Francisco Prado, although they look alike. Francisco Prado's got grappling, wrestling. He's a striker. Bruno Ferreira, I mean, he all he did was catch someone's back, and you saw how he did it. All right, Sam Hughes to Stephanie Lucindo, a young lady who nearly beat her on a split decision. I'd say she had 2 rounds to 1. Right? 2 rounds to 1. Sam Hughes plus 195. You got to be kidding. Stephanie Lucindo had that skill set through and through. 3, 4, 5 fights out of 5, man. That young lady's winning that fight. Taco Padilla, Jai Herbert, have him fight 3, 4, 5 times. You saw he was gushing. If you tell me you didn't see Taco Padilla with that damage on his face, man, he was wearing what looked to be something that required 30 stitches. 30 stitches. All right, so anyway, we're not making that mistake here because it's finally up. The trend is what? We're like 5-0 now for the year, where we're going to have Lopi Godinez, the more experienced, the more veteran fighter, win this. Julia Palastri at 27 will reset like Stephanie Lucindo, like Jasmine Lucindo, like Stephanie Luciano, so on and so forth, right? Yeah, that's it. All right. So Lupi Godinez, I hope she's got the box. She's absorbing a lot of hits here, man. But there's a lot of gaps to Julia's defense. So why she has that Dracula guard, as she develops, she should develop a rhythmic step so that she could control the distance. That's one thing that will help Lupi score points here. All right, folks. But we're riding Lupi Godinez on the money line. I wish I didn't have to, but I don't think Julia Palastri's ranking at 27 years of age. We're riding the trend here, and we've actually cashed all the women's MMA tickets, believe it or not. Isn't that funny? So we've been on the women's MMA trend for the younger to older fighter trend here, and yeah. So hopefully this all makes sense. Again, the comment section's open. The DMs are available to you. We have Lupi Godinez on the money line. That is the lock of the week. We are fading Julia Palastri for all reasons mentioned. You heard it here first.